And I guess I'm live. Right. I'll have a. Okay. Welcome to the McCaffrey Crafts live stream. I'm back. It's been a while, guys, since I've done some of these live streams. So I'll try to do a lot more of these streams now. Coming up to the Christmas run. I might make it more often than once a week. I might do a few during the week. Um, if all goes to plan anyway. And I'm a fifth generation blackthorn shillelagh stick maker. And every week I make myself, well, from now, available to you guys in the community where I'm quite happy to answer any questions you have. Give you an update of what I'm working on. And Steve Kelly, how are things, my man? Good to catch up again. It's been a while, guys. Lots to update on as well. I've been like working like crazy trying to get sticks up. Like I'm going to preload the website with so many sticks over the next few days. I uploaded about 30 sticks today, and I want to finally be like have a lot of stock on my website for the Christmas run, which really kicks in about the 7th or 8th of November. And then it goes for like about 4 or 5 weeks where it's like, you know, every day there's like, 40 to 50 orders a day type of thing, which will be good. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. I must get some sleep as well. So here's a nice little stick that I was kind of working on today. Uh, I like the weight of it. Like for me, this is kind of like an ideal type of stick as well. Again, for walking it, guys, you don't want a big giant knob that you can barely hold. You just want something that fits in the center of your ham here. Feels quite nice. And yeah, kind of like the stick. Just playing around with it today. I made it, and I don't know, something about it. It's like yourself when you pick up a stick. There's just a nice like feeling for it as well. So yeah, this is a nice little stick I've been working on as well. Have a lot of these nice little shillelaghs that I've been making too. I'll probably do a big, huge shillelagh drop over the weekend, which is I have a lot of work to catch up on, guys. And it's just like takes me sometimes about 5 to 10 minutes to upload one of these products. Let's see. Adrian Gummer says, "Hi Francis, watch a load of your videos. First time I managed to catch you live. Welcome, Adrian. Thank you so much for joining the Blackthorn community, the McCaffrey Crafts community, the Stick community, wherever you guys want to call it as well. I just like to be me, and it gives you guys an idea of like who I am and these live streams as well. I talk to you guys like I would talk to everyone else. Like I am myself, and that's kind of like what you'd expect on these streams, Adrian. Like I'm not, doing anything like nonsensey or like over the top. Oh, hello, I'm Irish. Ooh, why my sticks? I just like to be myself without, and give you guys an idea of who the maker is. Mary, it's been a while. Good to catch up. How's everything in Wyoming? Hope is all as well. All is good here in Killorglin. It's boring as anything in little small town Ireland. That's why I delve into the sticks to keep myself entertained and making content and chatting to you guys in the community, because small town Ireland is as about exciting as watching paint dry. And I actually watch paint dry for a living. So that kind of gives you some context to it as well. Uh, but yeah, the weather's not too bad at the moment. It's like okay. It's like different things as well. My face is always red as always because I was always in a rush to do these streams. Like no matter how often I do these streams, it's always like in 3 minutes I'm trying to set up the stream, link it to Facebook, put it on YouTube, and all of these different things. I always leave it to the last minute because I got carried away with this stick today. I don't know. I was putting on a few coats, and the batch of paint I have was actually quite nice. Because here's the thing, like when you use like say a type of paint or a finish, sometimes the batch is not good. Like say for example, you could buy say type A finish 10 times and you can get 10 different type of looks out of it. It's like kind of weird because like sometimes you buy it once and it comes out really really nice, then the next time you buy it and you put it on, you're like that's not quite, you have to mess around with it and do a bit more and add a few bits into it, and to get the finish that you like. And as always, I kind of do like kind of light type of finishes, you guys know as well. So for all of your Christmas needs, McCaffreyCrafts.com. You know, everyone needs a stick. It doesn't matter. There's no excuses. Stick for mom, stick for dad, stick for granny, stick for granddad. Stick for that brother-in-law who's annoying you. Who you have to buy a gift for because he married into your family, or the same for daughter-in-law too. Stick is good for that older brother who's been annoying you, or the younger brother, or a sister as well. Like, it's you can't go wrong with a stick. It's always good as well. Let's see. Steve says, I like living in a small town myself. I live in the farm fields as well. I don't mind it, like, but sometimes the like in small town, you small town attitude, and sometimes there's people getting in. Like, it would be nice if the town here was a little bit, different. But like, there's always a few people here that are just poking their noses where they shouldn't. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Are you allowed to do that? Like, I get a lot of that type of thing. So it's kind of annoying. And like, I like to just get on with my business and stuff. And then there's guys sometimes to just knock on the door. What are you doing in here? Like, I'm in my shop. Like, what are you doing? Do you? And like, they're so nosy as well. Do you make a lot? How much do you do? Oh, and like, so it depends on where you are. I wouldn't mind living away from everyone actually. Um, my ideal situation is away from people, I suppose. I'd love to. I know exactly what I want. I've tried to find it a load of times. I want to find just some small little place I can do it myself with all Blacktown around it that I can bring people to. I can have my shop there. I can do my live streams, and I can like have access to all of my own Blackthorn all around my property as well. I did try to buy three places and I got outbidded, man, the last 2 3 years, and then the property price in Ireland have gone ridiculous, like 400,000 K for a house in Clorglen, like. Come on, man. It's not that special here, though. Absolutely, I hate gossips as well. Oh, you tell me about it, man. It's like you can't fart in Clorglen, but someone knows. Like, there's always someone as well. It's like it's like it's the thing about Clorglen is it's like a safe town. Like the house prices are good here because like usually compared to other towns like Tralee, which would be higher crime rates, and like Clarny, which is just outrageous, like tourist town. No one wants to live in Milltown. The house prices are a bit cheaper there, and let's see. Here looking very well. Really, that's just a bit of grease, my man. I'm glad. Like of all the things you want to say to me, Anthony. Like I haven't done a live stream for about 2 months, and all you want to say to me is, man, how good my hair looks. But look, maybe I'm in the wrong profession. Maybe I should be a shampoo model. Get some nice conditioner. Just for men. How to go from gray to black. But no, I appreciate Anthony as well. I'm just messing around as well. And yeah, so I've been away for 2 months, and I was in Thailand, and I do kind of go. I'm going to be going back and forth to there now a bit, but I'll be here for all the important parts of the year. There's certain months of the year that are quiet, like say after Christmas, like in January, it's a bit kind of slow, and July, August time, it's usually a bit quiet. But I actually got delayed in Thailand and had to spend a bit of a good bit of September there because I was building a few things. I didn't say I'd love a fetish blackthorn stick. Well, I got sent. Or do I have one on me? I got sent these paddles before. Oh yeah, I have one here. This is like a blackjack or a slapjack, or one of the things they used to the guys men used to have them in their 40s and 50s and stuff, and they just would put them inside their jacket. And if they got into a bit of a scuffle, motorbike guys would be, doing a bit of this. But anyway, like the thing about the guy who sent this to me, I think I told this story before, but I'll tell it again if there's anyone new here. He sent this to me, and his name is Web Welder, and he is on TikTok only, really. And he put down that it was a fetish paddle on the customs form because he was worried that it wouldn't get through customs. So it can be used as a fetish paddle, I guess. So he basically put down it was a fetish paddle, and the day it arrived, I wasn't here, so I had to go to the post office to collect it. So I went to the post office and said, "Oh, is it a stick or something that's back?" And they said, "Let me have a look." And they looked at the customs form, and like it said fetish paddle, but like they didn't recognize the word fetish, so they were sounding it out. They're like fetish paddle. What's that? A fetish? So you're is a fetish paddle? Is this your package? Fetish paddle, fetish, and they kept bloody repeating it over and over. Like everyone in the queue was like looking and stuff as well. So I did the thing that any man would do in that situation. I had a big smile on my face and leaned into it and said, "Yes, finally, my fetish paddle has arrived. Ooh, I'm so happy." And then turned around, and the people in the queue are looking. I gave him a big smile. But yeah, I like this thing. It's just a handy little thing to have. Again, just in case I need to use it for protection. But anyway, when you said fetish blackthorn stick, that made me think of that story as well. But yeah, actually, I was going to set up my OnlyFans with blackthorn, and I was going to do pictures of blackthorns up there, and just like as a troll. And I was going to do that, but then it was like too much work. Like I'd have to remove all the bark on different things and do funny pictures and funny things. But I still might do that. I think it'd be kind of funny little thing to do. And so I do want to do a shillelagh porn or something like that. I think it'd be quite funny. But like obviously do it in a safer work type of way. When is big root balls going up? They go up all the time, Anthony, but they go down. They sell like instantly. Like I put up like I put up three this afternoon and they're gone already. I put up one, two, three big root balls and they're gone. So you got to be quick on the draw when you see them. For the rest of the weekend, I'm putting on like just this type of size stick, which are kind of like okay and ideal. So I have a lot of sticks, so maybe like with these type of handles, a few as well, and a few kind of like this type of handle as well. But yeah, and then like you see, so this weekend is not making sticks. It's just like I've been back now for 2 weeks making like I already had like my Christmas stash kind of halfway prepared like earlier in the year because I kind of like to get a good jump start in it. So I'm going to put on quite a number of sticks as well for it. But yeah, when is big root balls going up all the time? You missed three today. I'll probably have a few more next week as well. And yeah, they just when I put a good like sometimes people come to my site and be like, oh, they're seeing the same sticks up every day, but like I might have put like 10 sticks up and they might have been gone within an hour that you just weren't on the site. I know, which is annoying for like for you guys like as a customer, but for me for me the seller, it's just kind of all right. I just troll up, they go, I pack them, and then guys are like, yeah, you've had no new sticks up today, and I goes, oh yeah, I put 10 up, but they literally went after I put the 10 up, which has had been happening quite a lot. It seems that the brand McCaffrey Crafts Limited has a good reputation. A lot of happy customers have been talking about their sticks, have been posting me online. I've done a few interviews and podcasts. I had a few influencers on Instagram mention me as well, which helped. So all of these things combined with having a quality product, and people are good. And now I'm going to be exclusively using FedEx. I've negotiated fantastic rates with FedEx, which are pretty good because FedEx is probably the best courier, but like for many years they were the most expensive because they were like, we are FedEx, so we're charging more money. And now that things and margins are going down and stuff, FedEx have finally decided to actually have some products, especially for e-commerce stores. And yeah, they have a very small market share in Ireland. So there's a campaign at the moment for FedEx to get a load of Irish businesses on board, and they want a few success stories to start with and stuff. And so yeah, I might be doing some marketing with FedEx too, where they kind of like watch and document my journey into to using them like kind of exclusively as well. And for any of you guys out there, be careful with UPS couriers. I must give a big warning to them. I've used them a bit there, and UPS have a lot of internal issues and transit delays at the moment. So say for example, like if you were ordering anything from Europe to be delivered with UPS, it takes about 3 weeks to get there when they promise 3 to 5 working days, and they have issues in their sorting center in Cologne. So when give you a bit of insight into this as well, it might be useful to some of you guys that when you use UPS in Ireland, sometimes they'll send it to Shannon and ship directly from Shannon to States and no problem at all. Sometimes they send it over to the European, because sometimes to save money, they just send everything to a European sorting center in Cologne. But what happens is when it goes to Cologne and everything gets transported in Cologne, because they're trying to like, they have more planes out of there. And rather than like sending like a plane that's just half full or three-quarters full from Ireland, they just do it from Cologne in Germany. And whenever you see it go to Cologne in Germany, your tracking freezes for 2 weeks. The sticks go there. There's such a backlog. There's such a wait. It takes them about 2 weeks to go through that sorting center, which is ridiculous, and it is a fault of theirs. So you do have to you do have to you do have to be very careful with which shipping company you use, and if you can, try to use FedEx, because I've tested it out, man. FedEx is a good system. They were always like 20-30% more, so they finally come down to be competitive with UPS, with DHL, and with a lot of these other things. And actually, the post office is more expensive now than using a courier. Steve Kelly says, I've heard you're having a migrant problem on the news as well. What? McCaffrey Crafts? There's no migrants in here. It's 100% Irish made product by an Irishman, made with Irish hands, grown in Irish soil. It's like owning a part of Ireland. Whenever I say that, I'm always called a racist. It's kind of funny, like, but that's just how the internet is as well. 99% of people are happy, and then 1% is oh. But I think, Steve, to answer your question, isn't that like the main topic of discussion in like every country in the world right now? I know in America with the Kamala versus Trump thing, there's like the migrant thing has become one of the main questions, and I know Kamala has U-turned on what she was saying now, and she's starting to get tough on migration. And within Europe, it's become a big issue. In Ireland, of course, it's been in the news because Ireland only had so many hospitals, so many doctors, so many dentists, and then they left hundreds of thousands of people into the country, and it's put a strain on national resources. And it's put a strain on healthcare. It's put a strain on the dentist. It put a strain on the schools. It's put a strain on housing, which there was already was a housing crisis that could be solved very easily, but no one has common sense. Um, Common sense has become a superpower, and it's become quite like, if there's a homeless problem in Ireland, and 7,000, 9,000 people living on the street because they can't get social housing, then get some modular homes, get some land, and use taxpayers money to kind of like get that done. But that's too easy to do. And then, oh, the modular companies want to charge way more, and they add on, and then there's all corruption. Like the problem with the world, Steve, is money. Um, so if you're talking about the migrant problem, and if you want to like really like delve into that, you have to see what caused it and what was the reason for it as well, because you can't blame someone for saying, "Come over here, you get a better life." You know, if you're bouncing around and someone waves, say, "Come over here, we'll give you free money," like everyone's going to go over. So, like, if you really want to dig deep into every problem in the world, it comes down to money, Steve. It becomes down to money. So, this is just my take on this as well. I think that Ireland, they offered a big incentive for the hotels that were struggling during COVID. A lot of accommodations and hotels and properties, they were really struggling, and a lot of these were maybe off the beaten track in areas. And so, to help this, the Irish politicians, 150 of them that are in the Parliament in Ireland, which are all property owners, and they have interests in a lot of this field. They decided that it'd be pretty good to, with all the migrants that were coming in, to offer €800 per migrant per month that each hotel could take. So, say for example, you have a hotel room, and if you can pack in four guys in there, mostly men actually, and that's what caused all the problems with because it was like how the communication of it to the local people was all wrong. They were like small little towns, and they were putting all the migrants into the working class areas and not into the more affluent and middle class areas. So a lot of people were not happy that they didn't seem as fair. That why were they trying to settle a lot of, like, the influx of migrations into areas that were low income and working class, and not into to other areas. And then they were putting them into areas that couldn't take a lot of people, in terms of like the healthcare and doctors. Like, there might only be like, a few dentists in the area and a few GPs and doctors, and then you're putting in, 5 to 600 new people, and then it's going to create a strain on everything. So all of these problems, you can't blame the lads coming in looking for a bit of money. It's to do with the communication, it's to do with the incentives being done, and it's been doing with lack of adequate planning. Like, everything can be done in a more efficient way and a correct way that is equal and fair. So it's all to do with fairness, it's all to do with equality. And you just have a bunch of guys, that are in positions of power in the country and in these organizations that don't know their arse from their elbow. And yeah, it's got, like, from me, a business guy, like, I wouldn't, like, if I was put in charge of any of those things, like, and like, it's obvious to me, like, what the problems are in advance. Like, so I say, okay, if we bring in, say, we have a town of 2,000 people, and we bring in 500 or 600 people into a hotel which has been dormant for 5 years because it's, you know it was built and no one was interested in it. You have to plan to say, right, before we introduce this into the area, we're going to have to improve, the housing, to make sure. We're going to have to improve that there's more healthcare, there's more options, and more dentists, and all of these different things. But yeah, it's one of these topics that doesn't have to be controversial to talk about. You can talk about it in a very kind of pragmatic way to say, look, what was the cause of it? This is the money and the incentives and the communication. Why are people angry? Because they were told one thing and another. Also, it was like particular areas that were, were kind of, the people in the area had no say. So a lot of the people felt they didn't have a say. But what is kind of, what is kind of, to me, a bit ironic is that these people continue to vote for the same political parties in Ireland every year. They do vote for them, and then they complain. Why did this happen? And they must understand, is like, this is the political party that you vote for. If you do want to have change, find someone that has your views and your kind of things and go for that. But anyway, I do enjoy talking about different things. Hopefully that will start to change in 2 weeks. The man will be back in office as well. I don't know, when's the US election? It's like, it's close, isn't it? Like November and stuff. I haven't really been following it too closely because, like, I kind of lost a bit of interest. American politics, like, being very honest, I like, it's kind of interesting for 5 minutes, but then it's just all kind of insulting and back and forth and back and forth. Like, don't for like rather than focusing on the issues and the policies to say, this is my policy, I will do, this is my policy, it's more like, don't vote for him, he's bad, don't vote for her, she's bad, don't vote for, and like, this kind of back and forth kind of childish thing. But I don't know, maybe that's just a culture of elections over there. And watching from Cumbernauld, how is this going? I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Steve asked that controversial question, but I managed to tiptoe around it in a very diplomatic and political way. That will be okay. I'm pretty good with the tough questions that have been asked, because, like, I've done enough of these live streams, and like, people are always trying to, like, get you to talk about something, and to go in a certain way, and to different things. Let's see. Mark says, I'd be vote. So he's from Cumberland. I'd be voting for Donald. He's half Scottish as well. Has he claimed Irish nationality yet? I know, like, every single American, like, politician, they usually have some connection to Ireland. Like, Obama was Irish, apparently. Biden, of course, had his Irish connection. Kamala Harris would probably talk with an Irish accent. But yeah, like, it's all. But let's see. So his mom is Scottish. I thought, like, Trump was like German, like Trump, Drum, or something like that, and that's his more kind of a German thing. But yeah, look, could be why. I think, if you look through your genealogy in different countries, you're always going to find a bit of one. But like, my dad did his what you call it, his DNA testing, and he's 99.9 or 99.1% Irish, and then 0.9% Norwegian. So obviously some Viking came down, and there's a tiny, 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 tiny bit of Viking descendancy in the McCaffrey bloodline. So we're 99.9 percent Irish as well. So I thought that was funny as well. I went to Norway then. Um, let's see. The dad is German. Wie geht's? Das stimmt. Ich habe Hunger. Rammstein. Actually, I like Germany. I've kind of said it before. Met a few guys in this community that were a bit off and weird. They turned out to be German, but I actually do like Germany to visit. I just like that it's easy to get around. The food is evenly priced. I like schnitzel. I like sauerkraut, like things like that. The Isle of Lewis. Yeah, that's a hard place to ship to. I've had to ship to a few of these little isles before. Most of us are mixed heritage, which is perfectly fine. And the world, like, long ago, you had no option but to marry, the girl in the local town and just hope she wasn't your cousin. But in America, like, of course, it's mixed heritage, which is nothing wrong at all with that. And you usually are kind of like the heritage of the place you're born. So, like, say for example, someone from Korea is raised in American, they're more or less like, been raised culturally and have the American mindset and feel like, most people of where you're raised throughout your childhood and teen years, that's kind of like where you kind of like identify from and different things. Mark says, what's with the beer in Ireland? What you drinking as well? Surprise! I don't really drink too much, my man. Um, I don't enjoy it. Like I enjoy having like two beers when it's really hot. The only time I really like to have a beer is watching the sun set in the summertime after I've had a long hard day working, and I love the taste of beer when it's really hot. But I don't really drink beer in the wintertime and stuff as well, and I don't like getting drunk. I don't like feeling out of control. Like I prefer to be in control. I prefer to if I have like two beers, I'm happy with that. I'm not running to the toilet every 5 minutes. Like, I'm not going to drink like 5 pints of water. Like, so I'm not going to drink 5 pints of alcohol. I'm happy to have a drink. I'm not like a teetotaler as well. I'm not against it, but like I don't know. And I kind of like the German beers that I've had. I thought they're a bit nicer. I don't really drink Guinness too much, or anything. I probably drink a bit of Heineken when I have, or I actually like Molson. There's an interesting thing for you. Like the last few times I had a few beers in Ireland, I actually went to Molson because I lived with some Canadians before, and it just brings back like the memories of doing that as well. But yeah, like it always disappoints people when they come to visit me and I'm not a big drinker. They're like, oh. But I really don't enjoy getting drunk too much. I'm not Glasgow. It's very Irish here. Yeah, I've been to Glasgow to the OVO Stadium, where I've watched a few gigs and concert. Glasgow's always a bit of a tough spot when I went over there. There's always a few, when you get in the city centre and around by the bus station there, and like the underground that you have there. I've met a few weird characters in there. Like one, I think the last time I was in Glasgow, one guy was trying to light his friend on fire on the underground, like two just lads in their 19s or 20s or something like that. But it's let's see. German is good. Looking for some Irish pilsners and lagers. Um, to be honest, like I've had a load of beers all over the world, and I'm travel, and it's just the German brewing process. Like it just seems to have a bit more flavor because usually the alcohol content in German beers is higher, like 6, 7, but the taste is still pretty good, and it doesn't have that like weird aftertaste that you get with higher alcohols. Like the lower ones are like the ones 3%, 4% alcohol. They're the majority of alcohols in Ireland as well. Um, let's see. Mary says, I like a Guinness Blonde, tasty as well. I don't know what a Guinness Blonde is, but it sounds pretty good. Let's see. Mark says, a crazy story. I have loads of stories, man. The stories I could tell you guys. I told you my travel stories before. I told you about like a various different stories that I've had. A bit of my stories from Africa, my stories from Asia as well. Sounds like a mixer, yeah, with the Guinness blonde as well. It's like, what do they call that Guinness drink mixed? Is like it's a black Russian, and then if it's a white Russian, it's like they mix it with milk. It's like when you go into a bar, it's like, and then they have the thing now, which is the baby Guinness. Like people go in and get baby Guinness or something like that. But yeah, I think the drinking culture in Ireland has kind of changed a bit because the price of everything is gone and people just can't afford it and stuff. And I don't know. I haven't really gone out. Like the last time, the last time I was kind of like going out and stuff. Like how do I even say this politely? Like people were using a lot of substances in town and in the bathroom. I was a bit shocked to see snow like substances, we say. And yeah, it was actually a bit of an eye opener in this little small town that definitely people were the younger generation of people in their 20s and 30s that were coming up to me. They seem to be fond of other things other than alcohol. And I think it's quite, you guys can read between the lines there, and that's kind of like sad to see because like it's like it's a bit unusual to me. Like I never thought like Ireland would get like that as well. Let's see, where is the strangest place you've seen an Irish pub or a person abroad? In Korea, I suppose. Then I was I was going. to basically, I was in Korea, and someone wrote down in a piece of paper, there's this like old Korean town that is like, there's all actors in it and they all have to stay in character, and it's like going back to Korea in the 1500s. And I was like, I'm there. So I went to look for it in the Korean mountains off into the middle of nowhere. And like I got off the bus near this mountain, and I'm hiking away and I'm getting lost, and I'm hungry and I don't know, and I'm thirsty, and I'm like really really lost. And then I come out to this little tiny little town in Korea, and I was like, okay, I'll hopefully I can try to find somewhere here. And there was a bar. It was like it said like Irish bar, Irish pub. And I was like, oh, I'll go in here and have a look. And I went into it, and it was no more as Irish as a pen, you know. But like inside there, it wasn't even green. Like they had Irish pub, and it was like pink on the outside, and I was like, okay, it's pink, that's a bit weird. And then I went in, and it was like really kind of contemporary lights. It had like a purple lighting inside here, and like LEDs and stuff. And then they had like a piano in there, and then they had like this guy playing the piano. And then like it's I was like, okay, is this an Irish bar? Yes. And then I was trying to get speaking to someone who could try to speak, to see like what this bar was about. And eventually, after about an hour there, someone came in and they spoke a bit of English. And they did it. It wasn't perfect English, but they translated. And I was like, why is this bar called an Irish bar? And like basically, the owner just said that usually he heard Irish bars make money, and he thought if we write Irish bar on his bar, that people would come in. And he was happy to finally have an Irish person in there because he knew nothing about Ireland. He didn't even know where it was. And that's actually the interesting thing when you travel the world and you tell people you're Irish. There's a lot of countries that have never heard of Ireland. Like sometimes Irish people think that everyone has heard of them. Like when you go to America, of course, like because of Ireland and America, UK, Germany, these type of places. But like when you go to certain countries and you say Ireland, they're like, where? Iceland? Ireland? What's that? They don't even know anything, never heard anything about it. And I always found that quite interesting, that the world's a big place, and a lot of people have, don't really have heard of Ireland and different things as well. Let's see now. Moment says, "Howdy, Francis. This is my first time tuning into on your lives, and I was curious, what got you into stick making?" Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if I've done a few videos on this, but I'll kind of tell you what got me into stick making. Okay. Um, Always there has been like a family tradition within my family, McCaffrey, of stick making. My dad was a carpenter by trade, and he would do a bit of stick making, selling at the markets and the car boots and things like that. My grandfather, who was in Fermanagh, was very kind of into stick making as well. The name McCaffrey was synonymous with stick making in the 80s. That's featured in many of the traditional books of the time. And so there was always like, it was always there in the background as something to be done. But like as a young man, I wanted to see the world, go out, get my business degree, go out, work in various like marketing manager positions and different things like that. And then like the main reason, like I kind of took it up as a hobby when I was younger, and the young ones, the kids were starting to be quite noisy in the house, and I needed a hobby. I needed to get out somewhere. And my dad, he'd always go to his shed. So I remember as a kid when me and my brother were fighting, my dad would just disappear like Houdini. And where is he? And mom says in the shed, and the shed would be locked, And he was just going to the shed just to get a bit of peace from all the screaming and the shouting of the kids fighting, which was just me and my brother and stuff as well. And so then I kind of like set up a little shed and a little work area, and I said, oh, I'll start working on sticks. And I went out one winter and started like collecting some blackthorn. I put it in there, and I was like, yeah, one day I'll work on it. One day I'll work on it. And I kind of knew you'd have to wait 2 years for the blackthorn, and it was like, there's no problem for me doing that. And so then I started making some sticks, and the financial crisis happened in 2008. So I was making sticks probably in 2007, and I was throwing the odd one up on eBay and selling it like no problem. And it was just like a little kind of part-time thing. I'd come home, maybe make one or two sticks a month, go off to my shed. I turn on some music, listen to a bit of rock music, be out in my shed. I'd have a beer at the time actually, and I had my own little kind of man area. And then my wife would be like at the time, "Where? What are you doing? What are you doing?" And in there, are you doing anything? Oh yeah, I'm just working on my sticks. But like that's all I was doing, and just having a bit of free time. And then the 2008 financial crisis happened. All my skills were worthless as a piece of toilet paper. My business degree, worthless as a piece of toilet paper. my experience of working in SCB Bank and in Asia, and all my worthless. So literally, I had to like my the two companies I work for wound up. They couldn't pay me. The businesses were letting go everyone, and they, it was jobs were limited, so it was a real test of what I can do. So I kind of sat down with a pen and paper, and I was like, well, what can I actually do? And I was like, okay, stick making. I'm good at marketing. I know about this. I can make websites, and I have the family tradition. I have credibility. I have a story. My relative was a very famous faction fighter as well. Like I had, like everything was there when I wrote on paper of all the skills that I have and what I can do. And I said, look, I might start, progressing this for more than a hobby. But the first thing I need to do is collect the wood and stuff. So there's like a 2 year wait for that. So I kind of began the process then. Then about like 2010, I had like 2008 and 9. I had maybe making about 100 to 200 sticks per year, something like that. Which it was okay at the time. It would pay for the bills, pay for the holiday, and different things. And so yeah, so out of necessity, I got into stick making because it was always part of my family tradition. It was always part of my heritage. It was something synonymous with the name McCaffrey, but like most young men, I wanted to go out, see the world, do all of these different things. And then when when disaster happened with the financial crisis and all jobs were gone, degrees were useless. And what I found is I looked back to the old ways. I looked back to stick making, and this is a very rewarding job. It is a full time job. You can make good money doing stick making. There's a lot of work into it as well behind the scenes, and I kind of figured out a way in which to make it into a business model. And yeah, and then like from there, then there was this blogger in the US called Saltwater New England, in the New England area, Muffy, and she did a big article on me and posted it. And the time where I got really kind of popular and big was in 2012 when she posted that article. It was a story about me, and then her father had passed away at the time, and I was telling her about like me and my father and different things, and I kind of had a connection to her and her relationship with her father. And like I was saying, like I want to kind of honor my dad, which was true, like with this type of job, because my dad is very much, of course, into legacy and into the family name and things like that. And then I just kind of got into it, started to like it. And then, it just started to become a full time thing. And I started selling sticks. People were very interested. People kept asking me for things. And yeah, it gave me then the financial freedom to kind of travel and to be kind of free in my own boss. And, once I turned my hobby, which had a strong kind of, background in my family history, once I turned that into my full time job, I was happier. Like I can take time when I want to go off. I can go on holiday when I want to go off. It's taking care of everyone. I've been able to use the money I've made from Blackthorn to take care of a lot of people, and I've helped out a lot of people over the years as well, financially and different things. And yeah, it's given me a very good life that I have now. Like now I'm in my 40s and life is good. The Blackthorn and the stick making has given me this. It's given me a full-time job and profession. So I'm forever grateful about how I kind of got involved into stick making, and it's something that I'm kind of deeply proud of. And I'm very proud of, you know, um, keeping this tradition alive. Stick making is not something you go to college for or you learn. Stick making takes years to just develop yourself, and you have to go through mistakes. You have to learn the hard way, and there's a kind of learning curve to it, and there's no shortcut. What I love about stick making is that you can't cut corners. It's a very honest way to look at yourself, and what I mean by that is that with stick making, you have to get a piece of blackthorn, and it can take like 3 years to season the piece. And if you try to speed it up or dry clean it or air dry it or all of these different things, the blackthorn will always split and be no good. It's a very slow process, and everything about blackthorn teaches you about being patient. Um, in work and in everything, everyone wants to make quick bucks. Like every October, November, I get so many phone calls from all the new stick guys who want to get into blackthorn and this. They found a blackthorn patch, but like none of them listen to me because it takes If you find a blackthorn patch now in October or November and you want to become a stick maker, you literally have to wait 2 to 3 years before you can even start working on the sticks. And no one does. They do all the mistakes, then they give up and they just don't want to do it anymore. So blackthorn really exposes you to who you are, and it also teaches you about patience, because when I cut a piece of wood, I have to wait 3 years, 2.5, 3 years sometimes to be able to turn on the product and to sell. And there's nothing more humbling than blackthorn. You go out cut blackthorn, you get pain, you get hit, you fall over, you get injuries. It really is something that humbles you as a person, and it teaches you a lot about who you are as well. So there's little background to answer that question. Hope you guys appreciate that. Let's see. Hi, Francis. Good to see you, mate. How's the sticks? The sticks are on the way, Ron. They're doing well. I've got a lot. I put up 30 today. Let's see. They should have named it after you in the pub. Yeah, they should have actually. But they couldn't pronounce my name in Korea because Francis, like in Korean language, there's no F sound at all. There's no F sound. So the closest sound in Korean to an F they think is a P. And then they can't really pronounce the R as well. And the S sound at the end doesn't exist in Korean language. So basically my name is like one of the worst names to pronounce in Korean language. It's like designed to be the most difficult. So in Korean language, they would call me Pu. Instead of Francis, it'd be Pu Ran Sisha. Pu Ran Sisa. So instead of Francis, they would be Puran Si S, because they'd have a S sound for an S. They don't have like an S like Francis, they'd have a S. So it's like Pu, so it'd always be Puran Si, Puran Si. And I'd be like, oh no, my name is Francis. Puran. It's like interesting with the language and stuff as well. Mark says, yeah, they presume the whole Irish and Brit islands are England as well. Yeah, that happens often. They'll call the British Isles, and that'll insult Irish people as well, or Derry, London Derry, and like there's a load of little things that Irish people are quite sensitive about as well. And let's see. Always remember Fit Finlay hitting people with his shillelaghs. Wanted one ever since. Yeah, and he had the cheap little tourist shop shillelaghs, and Seamus had one recently, and it's so bad, man. Loads of guys sent me the picture with Seamus and from the WWE. I actually enjoy wrestling. It's fun as well. But I like the Attitude Era. I do like Stone Cold, and all that kind of era. That's kind of like where what I liked about wrestling. But anyway, Mark, should have moved to Glasgow and opened an Irish pub as well. There's plenty there, man. They don't need next. There's plenty of pubs in Glasgow. They don't need one more. The faction fighting topic interested me in another video you made. Yeah, and the faction fights were very interesting time in Ireland. um, they were very different from other disputes and land things at the time. And it was more or less kicked off and started in Tipperary in 1805. And it became quite popular and it spread from town to town as the stories of the faction fighters spread, and the different groups, the Shanavats and the Caravats, and the gangs that were formed around it, the culture around that as well, the tribalism around it as well. The wheel where they would insult each other beforehand as well, always done on fair days. It is a very unique part of Irish history, the faction fights, and it's something that is quite demonized here in Ireland because everyone in Ireland wants to get away from stereotypes, which is the Irish paddy drunken fighting. But a lot of that has some connection to faction fightings, and people on fair days would drink a lot and get into these kind of tribalistic fights where their tribe's colors would be very proud of their family, and one family would fight another in a family feud, and to settle scores. And it was quite an interesting time, an interesting thing. And there's a lot of misinformation online, and there's guys that will tell you, buy a faction fighting course for $700 and stuff like that. So just ask questions and let the buyer beware. Steve Kelly says, "Oi." And let's see. Mark says, kind of reminded me of gangs in New York or the gangs in Glasgow. Well, Glasgow is renowned for the gangs. Do you think the faction fighting was brought over to Scotland from Ireland? Um, Probably, because I know that in Liverpool, a lot of the Irish would go from Ireland to Liverpool to work in the docks, and a lot of the Irish that were there were starting fighting. And I know Simon Keegan has documented a load of that as well, to show people about his credentials, about his kind of family background in the faction fights. So I do genuinely believe that it was but I think fighting was probably already a thing in most places of the world, and factions and groups fighting were kind of the norm. But yeah, there was an Irish over there. They might have had a few sticks and brought an Irish thing into it. But Glasgow has a very strong connection to Ireland, so logic would kind of suggest that there would be a connection. Let's see. Trump 2004. Think he will win. From what I've seen on the statistics and stuff, like and just kind of my own research into it, it looks like he will win by a landslide. There's certain states that will always vote Democrats. There's certain states that will always vote Republican. Then in the swing states, from speaking to a lot of people over there, and speaking to a lot of customers, of course, they mention me and call into my shop. A lot of people that would never have voted for Trump last time, their vote for him. A lot of people, like, once when that assassination attempt happened on him and he was shot, a lot of people, they got a lot of respect for him, like the way he dealt with it immediately, the way he stood up. So I think at the moment, like Trump is probably leading in a lot of these states, and unless something happens, I don't know. I've kind of looked at like like I look at it really neutrally, like because it doesn't like it doesn't really I'm Irish, like what I'm not American, but Kamala's campaign is just like some of her marketing communication and her PR is just kind of like a bit off in different things, and like the thing about Trump is that all the bad things are already known and said about him. Like what new things can they have? Like he's had three wives, he's done this, grab that girl by the pee kind of speech that is out, and different things. And it's kind of weird. Like people are just like they know what kind of character he is. They know what he's kind of going to do and stuff. It's not going to be Armageddon whether either of them gets in. I think that's like scaremongering. I think whether a Democrat wins or a Republican wins, American machine continues on. Like it has industry, it has all of its different things. A lot doesn't change too much. Maybe like it's just to do with foreign policy, but there's it's always interesting about politics. Demir says greetings from Slovenia. Hello, very nice to meet you as well. I've never been to Slovenia yet, but it's definitely on my list of places to go. I do love to travel. I might go there now as well. Let's see. Southwest Gunner says, "Hello, Francis. My grandfather is from Wexford. Okay, and I've always remembered his shillelaghs growing up, particularly his one from the Irish Rangers, which are, say, the equivalent of like a Navy SEAL. Well, nothing's equivalent for a Navy SEAL, but in Irish kind of army type of thing, the Rangers are like the most elite kind of soldiers. Uh, I've recently started to make the sticks myself as well. Patience, patience, patience. Make sure the wood is seasoned. No one listens to me. Everyone cuts blackthorn, starts working on it straight away. They have no patience. But if you just cut the wood, man, give it 3 years. Steve says my craft is very nice. Appreciate that as well. Let's see now. Mary Miles says hi to Frank and Aaron as always, of course. Let's see. Southwest Gunner says, I recently snapped one when trying to straighten it. I was just wondering how hot I need to get it when straightening in a jig and carjack. Sometimes if it snaps like that, it could be rotten. Remember, not all sticks will last through the seasoning process. You could have also tried to straighten it too quickly. The bend could have been like really too strong to take out as well. There's several reasons. It could be to do with the jack and apparatus. Like with these apparatus, they have to be a certain width. Like the shorter ones, if you have a short one and you're trying to like push a bad burnout, like that's not going to work. And the longer ones can be a bit better. So there's different sizes that you actually have to do. There's actually an awful lot in the straightening of the sticks, an awful lot. I've never really gone into it as well because, to be honest, like, I've had to figure it out for myself. So maybe I'll pull in a course someday. I actually plan to do a course someday, but maybe another few more years. Because a lot of people are always asking me for secrets of it as well. But like, yeah, it's like trial and error. Like, there's a way in which you have to use the car jack apparatus. There's different sizes apparatus you use. You can't use the one for everything. It depends on the bend, the size of the machine that you put into. Sometimes you need to use 2 or 3 car jacks. Sometimes you have to put things at either end to take the pressure off so it doesn't snap. So like say for example, if you're putting all the pressure up here and it's like being pushed down at the side, sometimes you have to put two things up at the side and clamp it so that the pressure doesn't cause a crack. There's a lot in it actually. Um, Mark R, I was after one of your sticks for Korea. or Baroque. I think people who do Bartistu, which is like the stick thing that Sherlock Holmes did, isn't it? And historical martial arts would be interesting. Your sticks for martial art. Yeah, a lot of martial arts do buy it, but I tried to like stay away from that sort of thing because some of the martial artists, man, they're a bit I don't know, man. They're hard going to deal with as well because unless you like they want sometimes they want me to endorse them in different things and stuff like that, and I just kind of want to stay away from all that. I make walking sticks for walking aids primarily, and a lot of people use these walking sticks for martial arts. So I'm not a trained martial artist, and I try to kind of stick away from that. Or if anyone asks questions, like Simon Keegan's my friend, and he's like, martial artist. He's written 5 books, and like I usually direct people to him. Does hazel take the same time to season as black currant? No, it's way quicker. Way quicker. Sometimes 9 months to a year, man. Your hazel seasons. Rodney, hey Rodney, how are things, my man? Like the stream people as well. Yes, do like my stream. It's good. And then Pozdrav Slovenia. I presume that's a good thing you said. I hope I didn't repeat anything too. Gangs of New York movie had the Dead Rabbits. Yes, it did. Actually, your man Riley, see something Riley from the Gangs of New York. He lives near Clorglen now. He comes here all the time. He hasn't been into my shop yet, so I wonder what's up to him. It's like, John C. Riley, he's in Step Brothers with Will Ferrell, and he always plays this kind of dopey character when he's doing his comedy things. But yeah, John C. Riley, or whatever his name is, he bought a house in Carroll Lake, which is about 4 miles from here. And he's always around Clorglen and different things. He was in Clorglen a few days ago again, and all the local businesses were getting pictures with him as well. But yeah, he hasn't come near near the Blackthorn shop. But it would be good if he did, because I can just take a picture with him and stuff. But I'm not going to go begging him for a picture. If you want to say, you can. Teflon Don, yeah, nothing sticks. The Teflon is always a good reference for politicians. That no matter what happens, there's still popularity. But look, all I want, Mark, is for my business to do well, the world to be happy, less conflict as well. Like, man, the stuff going on in the world is just like, it's all to do with money, man. Money's the root of all evil, but money is financial freedom too. So it's, there's no winning. You're doomed if you do, and you're doomed if you don't. He already pay. He let's see. He already proved he can help the USA as well. Yeah, like his first term, like if you look at it neutrally without emotion of what he did in his first term, there were like compared to say what Obama did, and you look at the two of them on paper, like it's not like, and you might do this as your own exercise if you do it like really neutrally, but yeah, like Obama did a lot of things that I disagreed with more. Like one of the good things that your man Trump did when he first got in the first time was there was this trade deal called TTIP, which would have caused a lot of problems for Irish businesses and craft businesses like me. So when he destroyed that, it kind of was something like the Democrats wanted to push forward with this trade deal. And if that trade deal went through, it would affect a lot of Irish craft business in a kind of negative way. And it's kind of good that that deal was scrapped. Um, Good Irish whiskey or Scotch bourbon drinker, or whiskey too. I don't mind a brandy, a Hennessy at Christmas because it's like different. Like the weather's cold, you don't want to drink a cold beer where you're freezing cold, man. You want to drink something warm and hot. So, like, beer's to be drank when you're parched and you're thirsty and there's warm days in the summer and stuff. But like in the winter time, like a nice whiskey, a hot whiskey is kind of nice. Let's see, 20 to 40 euro. I can't remember what we're talking about there. Yeah, John C. Riley. Yeah, he's here all the time, man. He lives here. There's always a few celebrities like going around and stuff like, and but he seems sound enough anyway. He comes in, he'll have his meal, he keeps to himself. Is like, like the thing about Ireland and being a celebrity is like no one really cares. Like, like even me, if he came in here, it's like, all right, John, fair enough. Like, I'm not going to be like, Irish people seem to treat celebrities who visit Ireland just like humans. And like, so you're a celebrity there, yeah? All right, was in a few movies you were. Very good. Very good, and that's about it. Like it's like that. Let's see. If Don wins, you should get more American tourists and online orders when the economy fires up. The economy is an interesting conversation, Mark, because I don't think the change of presidency will kind of like help because there's a lot of things if you understand like the velocity of money, understand like what's trying to be done in the crypto side of things as well, in the price of like like in America, they do a lot of these infrastructure bills, and they generate a lot of money, and it causes a lot of inflation as well. So I don't know. Like I think I don't think it's in America, but I think there's we're going into a big financial crunch time. I think a lot of these handouts will eventually run out, and there's not going to be enough jobs for all the people there, and it's going to go back and reset to the people that work hard and come up with things are going to do well. And I think there's going to be a big gap between people who want to work and want to earn, and the people that are just happy on not working and collecting things as well. And but I don't know, man. I think like I don't think there's much like Donald can do to like really like what can he do? He can like lower inflation, so more businesses can borrow money, and then they borrow all that money and pump it back into the economy, and that's just going to create more problems. So like financially, like what's he going to do? Like, okay, he can do things like he could try to bring American business back. If he reduces the corporation tax, that's going to be good. Corporation tax in America is too high. I can understand why American businesses don't want to leave the country, because as a business you have to earn money. But the thing is, like with most businesses, is like your accountant has so many things they can do. You never end up paying that amount anyway. But yeah, so like if he can do things like lower corporation tax to 12 to 15%, and he can get things passed in Congress, that can get the economy going. But like, what really gets an economy going? Like you can't just lower the interest rate so everyone borrows money and everyone starts buying things, and all the prices of property goes up again even further. And then you have a little cycle where, oh, everything's good, the economy's on fire. But not really. It's just easier to borrow money again. And if you want to fire up the economy, stop the banks completely from funding a lot of things, and that would bring inflation down. Let's see. Greed for power here in the US. They have enough money here as well. Yeah, I hear you, man. It's like it's kind of tough when those type of things happen as well. Let's see. I went and harvested a nice looking knobstick today. Looking forward to working in 3 years. Yeah, you're not going to go. You're there. Yeah, I look forward in 3 years, man. Like next year, you'll be like posting, I'm a fifth generation blackthorn stick maker. Like I'm only kidding, because like that has happened so many times, my man. Like so many guys, like so many, it's ridiculous. Like so many guys, like they'll contact me, like they just started harvesting blackthorn for the first time in October, now November, and then by next March they're a seasoned pro. It's kind of funny, and then 2 years they're gone. Then usually just like a life cycle. Let's see. Do you ever do a course? Me with my friend will fly out and be the first one. Um, like if I was going to do that, like the best way from a business point of view would to be do an online course where I would bring in a videographer and I would go into great detail. And then what I would do is have a course where maybe once a week I will touch base with my students and do a class for like 1 hour. And then like 'cause you have to manage your time, because like I was doing a course, like like I can make a lot of money in 2 to 3 week courses. And like if 2 or 3 guys come now for me to teach them for 2 or 3 weeks, I can make a lot more money working than doing the course. uh Tommy Bunk from Florida. Jeez, man, I haven't heard from you in ages. Like, how are things with you as well? I presume it is the great Tommy Bunk that was quite active on my channel before as well. Hope's all well. I know you changed job, and you're quite busy as well for it as well, so hope everything's good with you. Steve Moore, Francis, I'm thinking of doing the Camino walk in Spain, yeah, and I made my own blackthorn stick. Would it last? If any stick will last 8,000 kilometers, like its course is going to last. Let's see. Many people do that here and have done it many times. Let's see. Upstarts and pretenders. You, my friend, are the real deal. Thanks for the share as well. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Um, I've been around, like you guys, like say for example, Tommy Bunk has been talking to me like, what is it, 4 or 5 years ago? Steve K, you've been talking to me for several years as well. It's good working nights as well. It's good that you're working, Tommy, man. It's like, you know, for me, like I instantly have respect for any guy who's working and going out there and doing things. I just don't like, when guys are just like on welfare too much when they can work. Like, of course, welfare is there for people that need it, and if you're a young man and just playing video games all the time, which is a lot of the culture I'm seeing around here in Ireland. And I am very critical of younger men these days. I think they're very emotional and they're very soft. But every guy says that as well. is not every generation gets a wee bit softer. I'm sure back in your time, Tommy, it was way tougher than my generation. You probably look at guys in their 40s as being weak and soft and stuff like that. But but yeah, it's something there that that is different. But let's see, you eat better if you work as well. Yeah. I find like sometimes my eating habits gets a bit bad because like I'm working hard and then I'm running out of time and then I just eat some crap and then it's it's hard it's actually effort to eat healthy and it costs more. Like it's actually cheaper and easier to eat crap and sometimes you eat that as well. Let's see now. I'll answer a few more questions before I go. Small business owner here in North Oregon coast as well. Yeah, like I like being a small business. I am trying to build an empire that I told you I've been over in Thailand. I'm doing a few businesses over there, but I don't have to be involved in them. And they can be in different names and different businesses. One of them is a seven-side AstroTurf soccer business. So I know everything you need to know about setting up a seven-a-side AstroTurf business, the drainage, what everything to you. I've went full autism into it, and I'm going to be. I ran out of time in Thailand, so when I go back in January for a month. I'll set that up there as well. Our family empire over there, which will probably be my son's name in the next few years. We have our spa, we have our cafe, we have several other bits and pieces as well. And I kind of like do have another small businesses. I would love to do way more small businesses. Like I actually enjoy it as well. You see, the blackthorn business, I kind of know how to do that now. I've kind of have my system. I can like work my ass off for 2 weeks, make 100, 200 sticks. Then I can like do something else and then come back. So like the thing about the blackthorn is like I can really do a lot of the manual stuff like by working good 12-hour days and do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Or like sometimes I can make enough sticks for a month, then take a month off and come back and stuff. So there's different ways I can kind of, and I know the different times of the year and different things. So I think I have a good understanding of how to run this business. But I do want to create another brand within the walking sticks as well. You're in Kerry. I am in Kerry in Killorglin, County Kerry. Who's more popular? Um, let's see, Kerry FC or Kerry GAA? GAA. I just started watching GA, which is GA refers to the Gaelic Association of Ireland, which is the traditional Irish sport, where it's kind of like 15 people versus 15. You have a ball, you can use your hands, and you can kick and score a goal or a point over the bar. So I started watching GA, still getting the hang of it. I thought I got some GA teams in Scotland. There are some GA teams in Scotland. GAA is interesting to watch. I just don't have the time to do it. I don't have the time to watch a lot of sports and to different things as well. Like if you have a good 9 to 5 job, you're an engineer, you come back, you want to watch sports on Saturday and Sunday because you have your day off, it's fine. But as small as business owner, look, the life of a small business owner is simple. You work pretty much 7 days a week on something. When you're not working, you're thinking about working, and when you're working, you're working. There's no it's kind of weird when you're a small business owner. That's why I like going to these business meetings and I like talking to other small business owners because it's like a therapy session. We all just have a little whinge and complain, and it's good to like. I like being around people and guys who are doing things and active because then it keeps me wanting to do things as well. Let's see. Gunnar says I drive an excavator at a recycling center. Oh, wait, sorry, move back here at a recycling center and try to upcycle as much material as I can in any hobby I'm tinkering with. And recently scored a lot of hazel shanks, which are drying out for working soon. Yeah, the hazel shanks will, in 9 months, man. Like if you keep it in a place with lots of moving air and lots of wind, like even if you keep it outside and put like a tarp over it and just make sure no rats get into it, you'll be fine. Let's see, Tommy Bunk. I made some vindaloo. Vindaloo's quite spicy. That would be a hit over there. Yeah, Vindaloo is quite popular in the UK with all the guys who go drinking beer and then they get their late night takeaway to Vindaloo. I should open a small shop over there, but no one would buy Vindaloo from a Yank. Of course they would. Actually, all the Americans that have business here, like they do okay. Like the locals are a bit more it's like there's an obligation to support the Americans set it up. Um, Despite what you might think, like a lot of the Americans that come over and live here, like the Irish are actually quite nice to them. And once you're outside the city and stuff as well, but when the thing about Vindaloo is, Mark says Vindaloo is lethal. just in the bathroom the next morning, man. It stings. It stings. It is quite. But like I used to be okay with spicy food, man, and then my tolerance to spice just kind of like totally went down. I used to be quite good at like all of those things, but now I just like a little bit spicy. It's like I suppose when you get older, your stomach just kind of changes. But maybe Tommy, you've got that iron stomach that can handle a vindaloo. But yeah, like it does hurt when it comes out the other end. Say no more. Good lad. But the thing about like a lot of the bomb exactly like the thing about a lot of Indian food, man, is you need lots of ingredients, like, lots of ingredients. And it's very hard to get good Indian food unless you go to like one of these kind of premium restaurants and stuff. Most Indian food, like in these little takeaways, it's not the best. Like, you see, Marcus, I might move to Ireland. Heard this Liston Festival is a good place to go. Yeah. Liston is the singles festival, the matchmaking festival, where you go to Liston and you're match made, but like, it's just full of guys, man. There's hardly any women there. So if you want to find women in Ireland, uh, just go out to the bars and just walk straight up. And once you have an accent, you're different. You're not like an Irish guy. So like what you'll find is that because you're American or you're from UK or Scotland, and if you come to Ireland and you have an accent that isn't Irish, the Irish girls will love you because it's interesting. It's like they're so tired of hearing like the Irish guys hitting on them and talking to them. And Irish women are kind of like they want a bit of banter and to joke around. Like if you're hitting or talking to an Irish one, like you have to be entertaining and amusement very quickly, and you have to be able to take a joke and an insult. And the best advice I'll give you guys some riz, some skills as well. It's like whatever an Irish girl says, if it's a bit insulting and stuff, just exaggerate it. So if she says you're a bit old, you say like I'm a dinosaur or something, or if you're a bit fat, you'll just kind of whatever. And like sometimes they're just saying these things just to see your response. If you're a bit of crack, if you can have a laugh, if you're a sound man, if you're sound, the crack you can have a bit of crack, which is a bit of banter and different things. So you have to kind of not take this is kind of hard for a lot of nationalities when they come here. Like you can't take what an Irish person says literally sometimes, and you have to kind of judge their intention and what the intent is. And you have to get used to very strong language because Irish people, they phrase things in ways that will shock you as well. And as you probably know, the C word that ends with a T with maybe a bit of an on in the middle, like see you next Tuesday, is a word that is used so often in Ireland, especially out and about with friends and in social situations and telling stories. And there's so many variations. Like, you know, you'll if you went to an Irish bar, like and you recorded this, the bar would be cancelled. Catch up. I can't eat hot food anymore either. Yeah, it's just it stings. I do like Thai food and Japanese food. Indian food is huge in Glasgow. Yeah, like in a lot of the UK. A lot of late night places are like that in Scotland as well. Scottish should be independent, shouldn't it? Start the independence debate for Scotland. Can't beat a bit of potato bread. I do, yeah, and fried up in the morning. I actually, something. I need to get some potato bread. I kind of missed that. I hadn't had that in so long. It reminds me of being in Northern Ireland. The potato bread was always good there. In Kerry, it's not really a thing. A good crack. The lady is yours. Exactly, Mark. You have to, if you're one of these guys, you're divorced, whatever, and you're thinking of where to go, and if you come to Ireland, and you'd be surprised how well you can do with women if you have a bit of a laugh and a personality about you. Like, a lot of women, like maybe the younger ones, they want the guys with the six pack and stuff. But like, the women in their 30s, 40s, things like that. If you're looking for, if like you're in the 50s, you see ladies out in their 30s and 40s. If you can show them a bit of crack and a bit of banter, like it's you're away to the races. Let's see, I could be a 30-year-old man, show him my McCaffrey Blackthorn as well. Yeah, like sometimes you can, like, if you're done in a very kind of joking way and with a smile, a sardonic kind of sarcastic type of way as well. It's like unusual because like it doesn't work in other countries as well. Is potato bread a potato scone? No, it's just like potato and it's really, really flat. It's not like a bread at all. It's more just like potato and you fry it up and have it with bacon, eggs, beans, black pudding, proper Irish breakfast. Like, is that flat patty? It is quite flat. And, but it's just like potato, really. It just tastes like potato. Never had a scone. What's that like? Oh, scones, man, or with a cup of tea. Scones like a bit of bread. You have like some cherries in it, or you have some raisins or something in this as well. Late 30s checking in, booking Erlinga soon. Yeah, man, you have a laugh. Like Ireland's, you know, from all these talk about all these problems and different things in Ireland, it's still a good place to go out. Like the ratio of men to women when you're out is like not too bad as well. The cities are kind of like, the cities are full of many different nationalities as well. So if you like Brazilian women or something like that, there's like places you go that's just full of Brazilians, and different things. It just depends on what you're into. But like there's with Irish women, having the crack, having a bit of knowledge, being interesting, telling stories. The one thing you have to be, Mark, if you're coming here looking for an Irish woman, is be fun. You have to be fun. They do not like someone who's dry. You have to be as fun as outgoing as possible. It doesn't matter how you look. If you have that confidence about you, you'll bring people in, and you'll be surprised. You'll have your Irish Colleen soon. A place going is called in Scotland as well. Okay. My great uncle Joe had a potato farm, and we always take a couple of bags across the channel. Best potatoes came from Ireland. Yeah, just like a lot of the Irish potatoes can take a bit long to boil, and there's so many different variations. But yeah, I do like that as well. Ireland's like Scotland with happier people, basically. Guess so. The Scots do have a bit of, I don't know, it's just the accent. They do seem a bit angrier sometimes as well when they're telling a story. But culturally, like the going out, the banter, the having fun, like the kind of essence of people from say Scotland and Ireland in terms of commonality and things that they have, it's very much this kind of very sense of pride and community, and they're a little bit self-deprecating as well, like and they enjoy people. They're very social. And yeah, there is definitely a connection as well between a lot of these countries. Let's see. So Ireland is like Scotland, where happy people are basically. I'm really handsome and tall. Then you'll clean up, Mark. You'll be away to the races. Like, that's a great attraction trigger as well. You'll be able to get like, to be honest, like it's not hard to get women or to date if you have like any bit of personality. I've seen guys of all shapes and sizes and everything do well, and it just depends on their mindset and their attitude. Like, you don't take things personally, like, and different things as well. But yeah, it's a fun, like the relationship thing is always fun. Let's see now. People here in the States don't always know how to take my Irish humor. No, Irish humor is very, very dark. It's very cutting. Um, I have to, like, even for me, I've said things before, and people just look at me like, "Why, I can't believe you said that," or different things. Especially like when you're traveling, sometimes you have to be very aware of things to say, because yeah, people are very sensitive to Irish humor, which is very strong, and very direct. I used to be handsome and tall. Don't worry, you still are, man. It's just a mindset, like, there's always somebody for something as well. Is your government cracking down on hate speech? Yeah, there are. And what do you think about Conor McGregor? Yeah, I have a lot of opinions on that guy. Um, so yeah, the hate speech law that they're trying to bring in, it allows a lot of people in power to misuse it, I think, and it's been rushed out. And always the precedent for a law is to help the community, but the more you give up of your civil rights and your personal rights, the you can't do that. That, for me, like, the problem with hate speech is that it's not clearly defined, and anything can be regarded as hate speech. If I make a joke about someone from Cork boy, or a Dublin Jackeen, or a mean Cavan man, is that seen as hate speech? Well, if the legislation is there that allows the police to prosecute on the basis of, if you can prove that the intention was hate towards a large group of people, like from Cavan as being mean, fitting into stereotypes. And I said it on a platform like this, where I have 1,300 videos, and 40,000 people on my Facebook as well. And yeah, I could be done for. So um I'm not in favor of ever giving up civil liberties. I think that people should be allowed to say what they want to say. Everyone should have the mental capacity to be able to make a decision on what they think is right. In extreme, like they always use the extreme case to push through a law. They're like, yeah, but what if neo Nazis and come in here and extreme right, and like they start talking about the far right in Ireland. There's no far right in Ireland. There's no groups that's like, there might be people that be a little right leaning and stuff, but um with hate speech, like as I said, they always use the most extreme example to garner support for what they're trying to push through. And in extreme situations, like of course, like if someone has said something with evil intent, and intention's important, but like I don't kind of favor the wording of hate speech or the definition of it. And it's like, you vote for these politicians and this is what they do. So at election time, why do you keep voting for the same people? So that'd be kind of like a little bit on the hate speech thing. What do you think about Conor McGregor? He's a good marketing guy. I find him like, when he was a fighter, like he was a bit dirty, and sometimes guys would go to shake his hand and he'd turn around and slap them, and different things as well. He's a bit of a gurrier, a bit of a, you know, he's kind of like, I found him like a bit annoying, like, and I just don't like his kind of attitude and stuff. But he's a genius at marketing. He knows how to promote like crazy. He was an exceptional fighter. Like what he did to Aldo that time was just precision and stuff as well. Uh, but yeah, he's one of these kind of characters as well. But just because someone's like well known and Irish doesn't mean like, I'd like, it's how he presents himself and different things as well. But that's who he is, and what he does. And but he beat up that guy in a bar one time. Like he's just like, he's just one of these guys. You can take the guy out of Crumlin, but you can't take the Crumlin out of the guy. That's the way I'll give my opinion of Connor. Let me catch up with a few of these. All right. What is this? Okay. What's this grabbing? Can I grab a woman? Seen some folk grabbing on TV. They were Irish. If you grab a woman in Ireland, she's going to punch you in the face. I don't think any woman wants to be grabbing unless you have consent or something like that. Uh, but okay. I think that's more the traveller scene, Mark, but I could be wrong. Okay, he's talking to Mark. See, all the funniest Scottish people are Irish. Billy Connolly, Frankie Boyle. Frankie Boyle's humour is pretty good. Billy Connolly's good the way he goes in that circular story, like kind of Shannon Key type of way, and then he comes back to and links all his stories together. I like his stand up as well. Um, let's see. I heard Connor's going to run for Taoiseach. Nah, it's like it's a marketing thing, man. He just by saying that, he's launched his pile. Like the big thing Connor's doing now, he's getting into music business. He's got exhibits. He's getting all the music guys in. He's got his beer. He's got his contract. He's got all these things. Like he's phenomenal, almost black belt level of marketing, and he knows exactly what to say. And he's quite astute like that. Mark says, saw an Irish female wrestler session called Session Mott Martina. What is a session mott in Ireland? Well, a session is usually drinking the beer. A mott is like it can be a slang word for a good looking woman. And so session mott, so good looking drinker Martina, maybe, I don't know. Censorship sucks. Yeah, man. Like, everything sucks, man, in the world. But Tommy, you can focus on all the things that suck, or you can focus on all the things that are good, just like your Vindaloo. Oh yeah, that Vindaloo. Focus on the Vindaloo and not the things that suck. Mark says, all Irish and Sat Celtic fans I have met are left and political divide despite fascism, more Antifa and socialist leaning. So let me read this again. So all the Irish and Celtic fans I met are left. Not all, but yeah, like there's the left and the right and different things. The political divide, like fascism is quite this nationalistic type of movement, but it's not that strong. Like there's always these little fringe groups online and these communities online that kind of focus around these different things. And Antifa is kind of a weird organization, like to be honest. Like it's when I've looked into that, and socialist leaning. I probably wouldn't be like socialist myself or left leaning. I probably like from the majority of issues, I would probably be more on the right than the left on issue by issue. It just depends on the issue as well. Um, of course, like fascism is not really a thing anymore. Like, despite these little groups trying to do things and going out with their uniforms and things like that. But I don't know, like most Celtic fans are just Irish, like as well, like, and a lot of people actually aren't into politics and don't care about left or right. They're so apathetic towards they like a lot of people. I'm not saying this is the right thing, but a lot of people just don't care anymore. They're just so apathetic towards anything political. They don't care of right or left, but like it just depends on the issue by issue. Like you shouldn't be 100% left or 100% right. But yeah, like these different things, like the organization there, Antifa, like not really a fan of how and well a lot of the things that they've been getting up to. Let's see. I'm interview where a gentleman describes a time he used a derogatory term to describe Roy Keane as a cork something. Oh yeah, Langer. Safe to say, Roy got his hands in him and regretted the throwaway comment as well. Yeah, like if you call a Corkman a Langer and you'll get slapped. Let's see. I saw an interview. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, like Roy Keane, he's a tough lad. He's only 5'8", but he's a tough guy from Mayfield, and he's an interesting guy. And yeah, I know a little bit of scandal on Roy Keane, but I don't know if I can say that publicly as well. I know some of the things he got up to on the sly when he was in Dublin. But anyway, we'll say no more. Um, Center and balanced wisdom as well. Yeah, but like everyone can have their own political views and stuff. Like everyone loves to talk about the politics as well. What does that cork word mean? The You're a langer. A langer refers to a male's appendage, which would be probably located in his pants. And so, read into that. It's a slang word that is used a lot in Cork. And I was going to go down to Cork. The jazz festival's on in Cork this weekend, where a lot of people go to. But they have a few bands. They had like Hot Chip, which I like their music, but it's just a DJ set by him and stuff like that. I got a ticket to it, but yeah, I'm not going to drive down tonight. I think after this, I have still a bunch of work to do. Actually, I might finish up with you guys soon because I do have a bunch of sticks that I kind of need to work on and a few more things before I get going for home. So anyway, guys, look, I'll show you a few things before I leave. Look, I have all of these sticks that I got to get online. Right, can you see all of these? See all of these sticks? I got to get all them online, and see all these sticks behind me here. All of these boys. I got to get them online as well. And here, I'll give you guys a quick look at my workshop before I go. This will be the last thing I do. I'll just go down to my workshop, guys, and give you a little look around it. So we'll just go down here. You see a few things I'm kind of working on. Like what I've been doing today is a lot of the small shillelaghs and stuff. So here's my workshop. You can see all the wood behind me and different things. So you can kind of see here a few of the things I was working on. So here you can wait, where did I get this right? So you can see here, working on a load of these guys here today, and just have a few things drying and different things as well. So it's also working on these here. Wait, where is it? So I was working on a lot of these things as well. So yeah, I've been working on a lot of these like little shillelaghs and stuff like and these things today. So they're the kind of things I've been kind of like working on. And yeah, so here's kind of like my kind of like workshop. It's kind of a mess, as you guys can see it. You can see like a lot of all different things I'm kind of working on. The place is a bit of a mess because I've been working like a Trojan. So I have all these sticks drying behind me, and you can see all plenty of wood behind me there as well. So that's a kind of little a little view of my workshop. I got some sanders there. You see on the table. Little view, little 360. There we go. You can enjoy my workshop. So let's see now. A few more questions and stuff. Where are the Vietnamese workers hiding? Nah, it's definitely just me. So let me turn off the light there. I'm gonna go home now. I need to eat food, man. I haven't eaten all day. Because I went to get the sandwich and I wanted a toasted sandwich and the toaster machine was broken. Here, look, I've cut some wood, guys. Here, can you see? This is like the wood that I've. One second there. I cut this wood recently down a ravine. I got like a bunch of wood here. Uh, like this piece. Look, it's quite a nice one. A few different things. I got a piece of oak as well, actually. Uh, but uh, but yeah, I reached the end of the live stream, guys. I've given you guys a little look. Here's my shop. Plenty of wood. You guys can see my shop. This is like what my retail store looks like. I got to tidy this up too. It's just really busy. So here's where I do my live streams. You guys can see a bit about me and my life, and hope you enjoy the live stream. Got to know a little bit about me and what I'm working on. I'm going to be putting an awful lot of sticks over the next 4 days up, because I really need to stack my shop for the Christmas run. I'm using FedEx for shipping, which are great. It says 3 to 5 days, but 6 days is the average. But very good response from FedEx there so far. And thanks for watching, guys. And please think of me and Irish Crafts and support Irish businesses as best you can this holiday season. Shipping is good, but it'd be best if you are making Christmas orders, make them before the end of November. Like when you leave them to like mid-December and stuff, like you're cutting it tight then. So if I can have all orders in anyway by December the 3rd or 4th, it would be pretty good. And thank you guys for watching. And I'll leave. What does that Corkman weed with the L word? Is the last comment up for Mark. All right, guys. Chat to you another time. I'll try to do more of these streams and more video content. But the first thing I must do is this weekend I'm putting on a load of stock. So keep an eye on my website if you're interested. Okay, guys, signing out.